Today, we're not just talking about goals or trophies. We are getting inside the head of Cristiano Ronaldo, trying to decode the operating system of a living legend. So, let's get into it.
Okay, let's start with a little thought experiment. Your phone buzzes, you look down, and it's Cristiano Ronaldo. He's inviting you to his house for lunch. I mean, what's your answer? It's a no-brainer, right?
Well, you'd think so, but the correct answer is a hard no. Seriously, you say no. Why? Because as one of his old teammates discovered, getting an invitation to Ronaldo's place for lunch, it's not what you think.
Yeah, his former teammate, Patrice Evra, tells this incredible story. He gets invited over, probably picturing this amazing meal, right? But he shows up, and all that's on the table is salad, plain chicken, and water. That's it. No juice, nothing. And the craziest part? The second Evra finishes eating, Ronaldo just stands up, grabs a soccer ball, and is like, okay, let's do some training.
You see, it's not a meal, it's not a break. For him, it's just refueling for the next training session. That's the whole point. Every single thing he does is optimized for one single purpose.
And that right there, that mindset, it's the key to understanding him. We're calling it the machine thesis.
Because here's the thing. We all see a man on the field, but if you really want to get it, you have to stop thinking of him as just a person. He's more like a cyborg, a machine built from the ground up for one thing and one thing only, winning.
I mean, that's the real mystery here, isn't it? How can a guy who's 39 years old still play at a level that most 20-year-olds can only dream of? Most players are long gone by that age. The answer? It isn't just his physical fitness, it's his programming. It's the code he runs on.
So where did this all come from? How do you build a machine like that? Well, to figure that out, we've got to go back, way back, to his origin story, to where this obsession first started.
When he was just a kid at the Sporting Lisbon Academy, his teammates actually called him Crybaby. And you might think, oh, it's because he was weak or something. But no, it's because he would literally cry when his team lost. He just hated it that much. So that emotion, it wasn't a weakness at all. It was the first sign of that fire, you know?
And this is how he evolved. He took all that raw emotional energy and just channeled it, turned it into pure discipline. You know, while all the other kids were sleeping, he was the one sneaking out at 2 in the morning to go train in the gym. He literally built himself piece by piece, transforming from that crybaby into the absolute weapon we know today.
Okay, so that's the origin of the software. But what about the hardware? Let's break down the physical blueprint, the specs that power this machine.
Get this, his body fat is around 7%. Just to put that in perspective, the average pro soccer player is more like 10 or 11%. He literally has the body of a world-class sprinter, and it's all because of that constant, relentless optimization.
And this obsession with optimization, it even goes into how he sleeps. He doesn't do the whole 8 hours a night thing. Nope. Instead, he takes 5 separate 90-minute naps throughout the day. The whole idea is to keep his brain constantly refreshed and ready to go, and to help his body recover faster.
Think about this. After a huge game, while other players are out celebrating or just crashing on the couch, Ronaldo is stepping into a cryotherapy chamber. We're talking negative 160 degrees Celsius. It's unbelievably cold, but it kills muscle soreness, so he can be back on the training pitch almost right away.
And then there's what he puts in his body, the fuel. You probably remember that moment at the Euros, right? He sits down for a press conference, sees 2 bottles of Coke, and just moves them out of the way, holds up a bottle of water instead. I mean, that one little move reportedly wiped $4 billion off Coca-Cola's value. The message couldn't be clearer. If it's not pure fuel, it's basically poison to him.
But you know, all this incredible hardware is useless without the right software running it. And that brings us to his mental game, his own personal brand of psychological warfare.
You know how most athletes talk about blocking out the haters, ignoring the noise? Ronaldo does the exact opposite. He listens to it all. The boos from the crowd, the insults, he takes it all in. Because for him, all that negativity, it isn't a distraction. For him, hate is just another kind of fuel.
There's this perfect example from 2019, a huge Champions League game against Atletico Madrid. Their fans were on him the entire first game, just relentless. And his response? He didn't say a word. He just held up 5 fingers, one for every Champions League title he'd won. So what happens in the second game? He goes out and scores a hat trick, all by himself, and knocks them out. He doesn't get rattled. He gets revenge.
A lot of people look at that and they just see pure arrogance. But to him, that's not what it is. In his mind, it's just self-belief. A total, unshakable conviction that he's the best. It's like the most important line of code in his entire operating system, and everything else is built around it.
So, where does the machine go from here? That brings us to the last piece of the puzzle, his unfinished legacy.
You hear it all the time, right? People are always saying he's finished, he's past his prime. But then you look at the actual stats, the hard data, and he's still one of the top goal scorers on the planet. The machine is still producing at an incredible rate.
And maybe that's the real takeaway here. We have to stop thinking about him in normal human terms. Because machines, they don't get old, they just get upgraded.
So in the end, his legacy isn't really going to be about the trophies or the ridiculous number of goals. His real legacy is the proof of an idea. It's the living proof that the mind is in control and that if your mind is strong enough, your body can do almost anything.
His mind is in complete control of his body. It's an amazing thought, and maybe a little intimidating too. And it kind of leaves us with one final question to think about. If his mind is controlling him, what's controlling you?